Hey guys, welcome to Laurie's Little Studio. I'm Laurie, and today I've got kind of a variety of projects. The first one is I wanted to point out I had gotten a gorgeous little cross-stitch kit for Christmas from my youngest daughter, and I wanted to utilize some new tools that I had not been in possession of before. One of which I've actually used one of these types of hoops before, but it's been such a long time it felt new to me. And this particular version, I bought all of these items, well, two of these new things at Hobby Lobby. This one was really hard to get the fabric onto this hoop. So I don't know if I will continue to use it. I'm going to try it right out of the gate. I'll go ahead and start working on this. The problem is I've got an entire background on this little project, so I may end up having to get a Q-frame. I think that's what they're called, so that I can properly do that background. Well, here, I'll just show you on the actual color. Yeah. So as you can see, there's wonderful blue in the back. All of that is cross stitch. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I may have to switch out my hoop. And if I do, I'm probably just going to purchase it on Amazon. But this is it, and the brand is the Yarnology, and it is called a tension hoop. You can see right there, and that was the cost. So that's kind of what got me. I thought, oh, well, that's really doable. I don't know now. The other thing is I've been wanting some magnetized needle keep pieces. This one is so cute. So this is also, no, it's not Yarnology. This is Artiste. It might be a Yarnology. Nope, I don't know. Anyway, there were three. One, of course, was this cute little bird. One was a green, it looked like maybe a pattern that I gave to my youngest daughter, and I'm going to give the Hello Lovely to my oldest daughter. But you can pop it on to your project by this little cloth covered magnet on the back, and this is my needle right here that came with my project, and they just will stick. So you don't have to worry that this needle is going to basically get lost. And you can put it within or outside of your work, however you want to do that. So this needs to go to my daughter down in Oregon. My youngest daughter and her husband, my son-in-law, are driving down. He has to go down to Portland for a work situation, and my youngest is going to go with him and visit her sister and brother-in-law while she's down there. So, okay, so what I have are my cards that I painted. They're kind of attached to an envelope. You know how you do, right? Almost ready to go. And my plan is to take my double-sided tape and a address label that I created in Word on just plain printer paper. I'm going to add a strip of double-sided tape to one side and to the other. And then just on the end, each little end, I don't know if you can see, and then I'll apply the address label where the address label goes. I had a friend when we lived in Kansas who worked at the post office, and she said, as much as we love to put our return address label on the front, right here, post office hates that. It's supposed to go up here in this corner. So I'll take a minute and do all of these, and then we're going to tea dye and coffee dye some plain paper for my art journal. I refuse to call it a junk journal. I started out calling it a junk journal, and I realized that my definition of a junk journal does not fit what a junk journal truly is. What am I trying to say? Okay, in my opinion, a junk journal would strictly be for a journal full of the journal itself. So the outer part and the signatures on the inside and the potential thread or yarn or twine or whatever that you might be using to bind it with, all of the little bits and pieces and parts that go into it would only be items that you were planning to or would in the future throw away, that you consider truly junk. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not doing a junk journal yet. So creating paper out of paper that I'm not planning to throw away, that I would be using whether I tea dyed it or coffee dyed it or not, is not really a junk journal. That's more of an art journal, and that is what I am planning to do. So today I will be dyeing paper, and I'm not going to limit myself to strictly tea and coffee, although I do have some butterfly pea flower tea, which is blue, and you can change the color of that dye, or that tea actually, by adding acid, maybe by adding baking soda on the opposite end. I'm not sure what would happen. I know that if you add an acid to it, it will turn purple instead of blue. So anyway, we're going to find out. And then of course we have the beige tones that we'll get from the coffee and the peachy tones that we'll get from the tea. And I might actually be adding a little tiny bit of watercolor pigment to either of those, or just some plain water. And we're going to see what happens. So when I come back, we'll be set up to do that. All right, so as you can see right here, I have the blue butterfly pea flower is steeping. This is some instant coffee, just plain. I haven't added anything to it yet. And I have 2 tea bags that have rose, I wish you could smell it, yummy, rose tea. And I'm going to add, just to knock back the acidity on these a little bit. Oh, you know, I'm not measuring. I'm sorry. It's, you can probably tell, probably 2 teaspoons, teaspoon and a half. I probably should go ahead and add another half there. So I have 2 teaspoons-ish and 2 teaspoons-ish here. I'm not planning to add any to the butterfly pea flower because I don't believe the acid in this tea is strong enough to affect the paper. I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I feel. All right, so I know that my journal won't be this big. This is too big for a signature. So probably what I will do is, yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and leave the paper about this big. And then when I get ready to put my journal together, this will be the size that I will, well, I'll just go ahead and do this. I'll just do it like so. Okay, so if I'm putting my signatures together, this would probably be the size. Maybe a little bit bigger, but of course I want the pages in my book to vary a little bit size-wise. So this is a perfect page right here, as is this. And I'm just going to do that, and then I will add, this is 180 degree Fahrenheit water temp. Okay, and I think I may have said something in my last video about not submerging, and I didn't mean to say that I wasn't going to submerge the paper. What I meant to say was I wasn't planning to submerge envelopes. So now I'm leaving these flowers so that they can maybe deposit a little bit heavier color in certain spots on just plain paper rather than a gummed envelope. Okay, so there's that. That's going to sit for a while. And I feel like I'm in a cafe because the lovely scent here is amazing. The reason this is so foamy is because, first of all, it's instant coffee, and second of all, of course, I've added baking soda to it. Really thick. All right, and second will be, I'm going to let that calm down a minute. And I've left some of the bits of coffee so that it looks like this. That will deposit more color in those spots. I'll get kind of a leopard print effect. Okay, and back to this. This water may actually be more like 170 by now. Okay, and okay, so in this one, I'm going to tear up some even smaller pieces. Go ahead and isn't that kind of cool? Wow. All right. I'm going to need a plastic something to put my paper on. This is one of those as seen on TV type craft mats that nothing sticks to, except that I purchased it at a couple years ago on Amazon. All right, now I don't know if this will work or not, but I'm planning to try to lift the paper out with this, the end of this paintbrush. So let's just give this one a go. If it tears, well, tears, or it won't work at all. Oh my goodness, I might have to use my tweezers. Okay, here we go. Wow, that's a lot of color right there, isn't it? But I do like it. Now, I don't have avocado in my house at the moment. I'm allergic to it. So I probably won't be using avocado dip, you know, for my paper. If I want a red, I'll probably end up going with either a dye or some watercolor. But, I mean, look at this beautiful butterfly pea flower. That is so pretty. What do you think of that? Okay, and I don't want to layer these on top of each other. Well, that's why right there, because I actually did get that to kind of touch. Although it does, it's kind of pretty. All right, so here, let's try that. Why not? I have lots of paper. So I've added a little bit of this, and I'm just going to sponge on top of the blue tea. That's kind of cool looking. I think that turned out kind of cool looking. I like that. Okay. I do feel like maybe I should have these either on a bar or a cooling rack or something so that they will dry, because I feel like if they're on this, they're just going to stay really, really wet. So let me think. How are they drippy? Not really. Paper towels maybe? Let's do just a little bit of, I know, here's a fun idea. So this was the other blue pea flower. We'll just give it a hint of tea. Wow, that's really pretty. And then I'll just layer a paper towel between them. I have no idea if this is showing up. I know it will once they're dry, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Okay. Now this, I don't, oh, look at all of that. Wow, that's amazing. Whoa. I'm pretty sure if I put this on the few that I have over here, it would just overwhelm them. Ow, that's hot. So I'm going to rinse it. There we go. That's even prettier. Wow. I love that. Looks like leather. Okay. All right, let's just keep going. We'll do one solid tea. I love the unevenness. I think that's really cool. Okay. And you can leave this in the tea, obviously, you know, for a bit longer. I'm just, ooh, I broke my tea bag open. That was another project I was going to show you. If you use actual tea leaves, you know, break your tea bag open, that will give you that splotchy look. that we all love. Just kind of let that hang out. A little bit messy though. Oh, okay. Whoa. Slide this over here. I'm making a mess. That's okay though. That is okay. All right, I'm going to prepare another couple pages. And you'll notice that I'm not being too mindful about how straight these are. I don't really care for perfectly straight torn edges. I like, you know, this was torn rapidly. We were in a hurry. We had to journal something quickly. That's kind of what I like. Okay, so I'm going to grab my paintbrush, and it has a bit of coffee in it. So I'm going to pick up some coffee and just splorch. And some tea. I want to cover the whole piece of paper. That's my goal, but it's going to be in different colors or different tones. Kind of a tone on tone. Some dark, some light. You can do the same thing with a makeup sponge or a paper towel or a sea sponge, whatever you happen to have on hand in your art room. Now, I don't know that this will happen, but I kind of want to see if I can get some of the blue to come through. In painting, it would be a turquoise in the end, but I don't know that that's what's going to happen here. Okay. Wow. Oh, I like that. And again, I don't know if these colors are coming through on the camera at the moment, but I did manage to get some blue with the other shades of color. And that fold, that crease right there, just, it's just perfect. Okay, let's do the other one. This time, I am going to go blue first. Oh, that's right, I was gonna add, let's just go ahead and do it. I totally forgot. Why not? I'm gonna use this as a stir. I wanted to see if it would change the color since, wow, it's such a fun science experiment. Hey. Yep. It sure does. It changes it to more of a green. Oh, I love it. Okay, and go around the outer edges with the coffee. Almost like burnishing, but around the edges, but not quite. Okay, paper towel. And sometimes if your paper towel has a texture to it that can transfer to your paper, but depends. Mine is not, apparently, or else I'm not seeing it. Oh, yes. Okay. That is pretty cool. I can just see that in a signature. It also has a texture as the baking soda definitely does that. It's a technique used in painting to kind of get a chalk paint appearance out of latex paint, to add a little bit of, well, I think actually quite a lot of baking soda. It's kind of fun. All right, we need to see what these are going to look like now. So I'll just put that there. Oh, how pretty is this? I don't know if you can see, it's almost like a robin's egg blue. I adore that. And again, you can age it with tea or coffee. Definitely feeling that texture in there, which will be interesting when we start using it in the journal. The other tea that you can use for color is hibiscus. I might have some hibiscus tea. I think I might. We'll see. I might try this again someday in the near future. But look how beautiful that is. That's a beautiful color. Here's an old paintbrush that I've had for a very long time. I think I'll use the tea instead of the coffee. Remember, this is rose tea. I'm just going to kind of paint a little bit around the outer edge. Okay. I seriously feel like that's just going to be too pale for the camera to pick up. Okay. And for this one, I am going to use the coffee. Yeah, okay. Like so. How fun is that? Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm enjoying the dyeing process. Okay, but I have used up all of my paper for the moment. Let's dry this up. I'll probably keep the, I don't know, I might keep the paper towels to use as well. But let's flip this over, and starting down here, we'll go through and look at each one as they have dried. Okay. So this is the first one that we did. It's still a little bit wet, but wow, that is something else. Lots of color. Okay, that's the first one. Ooh. Oh, wow. That turned out really cool. That's going to be pretty in a signature. So you'll have this on either this side, or oh, it almost looks like a tapestry rose. That is so neat. Okay. And then here is the coffee. Again, whoa. I like that. Looks like an old, like the outside of a journal made from leather. That is really cool. I want to separate these though. I don't want that to transfer again. So I'll just do it like so. Oh, it's beautiful. And this paper towel will have to just go over there. Okay, here's just plain tea dyed with a few darker tones mixed in. I don't know if they're showing up. And this one as well, and it has little, yeah, they just dry. When they dry, they just fall off, the little tea pieces. It's kind of cute, little extra there. I did actually want to do one, maybe this little one. I saw this idea. It wasn't on paper, but I like the idea. So let's take this paintbrush and just dip the corner in the coffee and hit the corners. Yeah. Okay. That's kind of cool looking. So this would be your little page in the signature. I like it a lot. Okay. Oh, wow. Lots of texture in this one. Love it. Still quite wet though. It needs to dry. Wow. Ooh. That almost looks like a landscape. There's the sky, or the pond. Yeah, wow. Very pretty. Oh, it turned out so blue. Isn't that pretty? I don't know if it's showing up blue, but it's gorgeous. And now that it's almost dry, I am going to resubmerge, see if it will absorb any more. And yes, that was my plan all along with at least one of these two that I have. Oh, this one yeah. That one is so neat. Wow. I might do it again. Yeah. I don't want to put this one in with this one though. It's like dyeing eggs. How fun. Okay, so at this particular point, I feel like I have enough for at least one signature, maybe 1.5. I do have a few other things over there that I want to work on though. I've got that envelope that had a little bit of paint on it that I didn't want to use to mail cards in. So there's that. And I didn't want to lose the gum on this envelope. Not that I would ever seal it in a journal. I could even cut that off, couldn't I? Because it would still cover, I don't know, we'll see. So let's go ahead and put these over here. We'll come back to that. And I'm keeping the glue off of my paper towel. I don't want it to accidentally get wet. And by glue, I assume you know that I'm referring to the gummed edge of this envelope. That is so neat looking. Okay. And that is like right there. So I don't want it to absorb. I'm just going to go right up to it. It doesn't go all the way to the end on either side. There we go. Oh, fun. That is really neat. I'm just kind of trying to wipe off the excess right there. And I'm going to let this one dry all by itself. I don't want it to bleed through onto the others. And I have to make sure that that gummed edge stays dry. And in case you're wondering, this is probably the last time, or it will be the last project where I will be working on this old mat, because I received a new mat for Christmas. And as soon as I can, I plan to clear this off and put the new one on. This one will be recycled to probably use in the garage. I don't know. I don't want to get rid of it because they're so handy. It's just it's got a lot of wear and tear. So not just the fact that I've drawn on it, that I've, you know, I have paint. Now I have the dye on here. But it's also missing a lot of the needed gridded lines. So the other one is marked with the burgundy, and it has a few more landmarks. It has dots at, I think, 10 and 12. I don't know. I haven't actually been able to completely open it out and look at it, but it's wonderful, and I can't wait to get it in here and start actually utilizing it. Let's take a look at this blue, or turquoise, as I think it has, since I added that baking soda. Think about that. That is just tea. I didn't do anything else. There's no other thing but these butterfly pea flower. That sounds horrible. Butterfly pea flower. They're just purple blue flowers. Look at my hand. Isn't Isn't that wild? It's crazy. And I know that hibiscus tea will do similar. I made myself a little purse one time, and I tea dyed with hibiscus tea some of the fabrics that I used to incorporate into that project. Okay, I'm going to take it out. Oh, it's so pretty. Wow, that is gorgeous. All right, so we'll dry this one off. Yay. Now, shockingly, I do plan to make my own journal binding. I will be recycling a box of sorts for the cardboard that will then have beautiful papers and other elements like maybe lace and some fabric. It could actually have all fabric on it. I have some adorable woodland creature fabric that I think would be precious. But I want to do some extra something to that before I decide for sure that that's what I'm going to use for my journal cover. But I am going to make the journal cover. It's my plan. So we will be cutting out, if you have, for example, an old cracker box, or, well, in fact, I'll be right back. There we go. Okay. Trader Joe's vegetable bird's nests. It's a good size box. Let's see. We are at about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 inches this way, and usable real estate here is just under 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, just under 9. This is my original pick right here. Petco has the Wagmore Barkless and Oats and Gray. We feed these to our dogs. We pay for them. They're non-sponsored, not affiliated in any way, other than the fact that our dogs would love it if we were. This box size is kind of what I wanted, but we have a little hole here. Now I could perhaps put a piece of vellum. If you have ever seen vellum, you know it's like an onion skin type paper. I could put a little plastic insert with a flower or something so that my cover had a little added interest. But that's why I saved this one, because I felt like I could just take this cardboard and put it behind it, and then it would be covered up, and then I would cover that with my fabric. I feel like that would be less fiddly, so that's probably what I'm going to do. So the way that that will go is I have my scissors that I use. I have 2 pairs of scissors actually that I use for cutting paper. Both of these boxes are fairly thin. They're not heavy cardboard. They might actually need to be reinforced with another set. We'll find out. My plan is to take some measurements. I want to make sure that the pretties that I have over here, you know, my papers that are drying, will indeed fit somewhat. I might have some overhang. I might actually have to trim, but I'm thinking I'm going to have my, I think what I'll do is have my journal fold this way. All right, so the idea here is this could in fact be a front and a back, and that could be reinforcement because I need to put a spine, but I'm only going to do a half spine, and it will probably be it might even be in the center because I want to see some pages, the signature pages on the, when I have the journal closed. So I will have to take some measurements, and then I have my ruler and this little sharp blade right here that I can use to cut that with and get perfectly straight lines as needed. And again, if I need to recut this out, I can certainly do that. I think I'm going to use one of these or both of these right here, flaps on the side, as the center spine. And I can't really do much until I have the glue and I know the measurements that I want to use, and everything is as it should be. So, and then of course, I don't know if I showed you these. This was a Christmas gift from my daughter and her husband, Candice and Rob, down in Oregon. They came up to visit, which is why we had Christmas the first weekend of December. But I'm planning to incorporate this, the quilled, on the outside of the journal, and then of course these stickers will be used throughout on the inside. And aren't they gorgeous? I mean, they're just perfect. Okay, and then I found that I've had for, I had it before I had children, so a long time ago. This is handmade paper that I bought at a craft fair many long times ago. It's an envelope that does not seal. It doesn't have gum on it, but it will be incorporated into this journal. It has little flowers, and I mean, you can feel it. You can hear that it's truly handmade paper. I just love it. And then Candice sent this home with my husband. He went down to help out on a project down at her house, and she sent this home, and it is a journal page. I mean, it would go on a journal page. It's just beautiful. I love this beautifully embroidered journal that my youngest daughter, Jessica, and her husband gave me for Christmas. And it's basically it's a to-do. It might as well say sewing on here, because this is going to be my project notebook. It's just beautiful. I hope that you enjoyed making these dyed papers as much as I did. This is pretty cool. I'll have to figure out how I want to use this, but I think it turned out right. Just perfect. And then again, we have the blue. I think I can just go ahead. Look at this, how fun. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them so that they, oh, whoa, that is sweet. So that they're hanging off the edge of the ironing board, and I think the air circulation around the vast majority of this paper will keep it in the process of drying. This one is soaking wet. It needs to go over there. But, oh, what? Look at this. It's just getting better and better. I don't know if you can see it. Oh my. That is really cool. I like that one the best. Okay. So anyway, they will be dry the next time you see them. And I know that paper takes on a whole different texture from this stage to the dry stage. And I will try to pop that at the very end of this video. So you will see it at the very end when it is all the way 100% dry and crackly and just perfect. Okay guys, I'm back to review the dried papers that I've created for what looks like maybe a signature. Maybe, might be 1.5. But look at this paper towel. So I'm planning to cut it long way. This is obviously a paper towel that was sitting right on top of the little bunch of dry, wet butterfly pea flower leaves, tea leaves. You know, actually, if I split this paper towel, I have two. I have this one and I have that one. I love it. It's so pretty. Okay, so there's one. And there is a two. It looks like a peacock almost in a way. Look, it fanned out the feathers. Okay, here is the envelope. It has dried and I think it turned out pretty cool. I'm going to try to get as close to the camera, or get the camera as close to you. That might be the better way to focus on each of these. So I avoided getting the gummed edge wet. I don't know, you know, I mean, probably it won't ever be seen. I don't know, but I just love the way that this developed, like these faint rings. It's almost like some sort of an archaeological find. Very nice. And then here is this little guy who dried with the, there we go, the four corners. So this is tea and this is coffee. Okay. This was a lot darker blue, but let me back you up a bit. You're right on top of it. There we go. It is a very faint, I don't know, it didn't dry blue. It dried well, here is a white comparison. I don't know if you can tell. It has kind of a blue tint. Just a little bit of a blue tint. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Okay, and then here is this one. This was pure coffee. And just, look at this edge. Isn't that is just the nicest little edge. And it did that. I think it did it all the way around. This is the torn edge right here. But look how beautiful that is. Wow. This one is the blue that I intentionally splatter painted with the coffee. Kind of cool. But this has to be my all-time favorite. It has a sparkle to it from the soda, the baking soda. I'm almost 100% positive that sparkle is not showing up on camera. Maybe it is. But that was an added little surprise. I had no idea that it would do that. How funny. But pretty. Almost watercolor effect with butterfly pea flower, tea, rose tea, and just a hint of coffee, I think. That looks like, I think that's coffee right there. I don't think that's tea. And then there's this one. Now, I'm not kidding you. I swear I have seen paper that looks just like this in the you know, pretty paper section at the craft stores? I have. I know I have. That's kind of cool. I'm going to put these up here where... Okay, and this one dried so differently than I thought it would. It's like Constellation up here, and then this is like Nebula over here, and this is just like outer space over here. And again, I swear I have seen paper that looks just like this, you know, for $4.99 at Michael's and Joann and Hobby Lobby. This one is tea, and it has just little tiny hints of interest just here and there. That's coffee. That's coffee. This is a wrinkle. It's so cool. And then there was this piece of paper that just got laid on top of this one in the drying process. I mean, there were paper towels, quite a few paper towels between this and this. And I just laid it down, and this is what happened. And I just think it is so cool because in the signature, it could be either like that, or, you know, as you're going through the book, or like that, or, I mean, I could even do it like that, but I don't think so. But there is a tiny little splooch of blue from the butterfly tea right there. And a little bit on the back side is visible over here. And that is all of these for the day. Obviously it's not finished, but this is like the beginning of my very first signature for my very first journal. And I had so much fun making this paper. It's amazing how easy this was. I'm not kidding. You just dye your paper and you lay it out. I used my ironing board and I just draped it. Like if this is the ironing board, I just draped the pages over the edge. And then you go and you read a couple pages in the latest book that you're reading, and then come back and all of your paper will be dry and ready for you to play with. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the process of creating papers for a art journal. If you had old, just, you know, junk mail and you wanted to dye those papers to use as a true junk journal, I would say go for it. There's no harm in trying. And I love the way these all turned out. They're individual, they're gorgeous. And next time I do dye a paper, I'm going to be using some hibiscus and some other teas that have color. I think seriously, I think you can actually use spices. I know there's a turmeric, and I have turmeric in my kitchen cabinet. There's a turmeric dye, and there's another one that offers kind of a pretty tone to paper. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. We would love to have you join us. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.